Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope all is well. There's an article written in the New Yorker that I want to talk about. We're going to unpack this. It's titled YouTube View of Deion Sanders. I'm going to let you listen to this article in its entirety, and I'm going to give my thoughts on it, and we're going to talk about it. Stay tuned. Guys, please do me a favor. Before we get into this video, please give us a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, hit the bell notification so you can get updated on my latest content as it drops. All of that will be greatly appreciated by me. Hey guys, before we get started, do me a favor, go into the description section of this video. There you will find a list of all the players on the Colorado team that have YouTube pages. Make sure you check them out and subscribe today. All right, so like I said, there's an article here titled A YouTube View of Deion Sanders. And this is Bucky's reaction, Deion Sanders Jr. He said, this is definitely a hating ass compliment of an article. And he's right about that. They definitely throwing major shade in this article. When I say major, they're throwing world-class shade. I'm gonna let you listen to this article in its entirety, and I'm going to give my thoughts on this because I had said many times before, we're getting a first-person view through the happenings of the Colorado football team. It's a first-person view. We feel like we're a part of the program. It doesn't have to be perfect. The videos doesn't have to be perfect, but it's just the way he puts these videos together. And me personally, I love the way Bucky and Reach the People Media, that's Darius Sanders, in the pregame show, put their videos together because it makes us feel like we're a part of the team. And that first person view does not have to be perfect. And that's what's awesome about it. There's really nobody doing this but these three gentlemen. And for Coach Prime to embrace social media, this is a really big part of what's making this program special. And it's also good for recruiting. But as far as the look of the videos, they don't have to be perfect, but they get their message across. But without further ado, I'm gonna let you listen to this video in its entirety, then I'm gonna give my thoughts afterwards.
The irony of these underproduced videos is that Deion Sanders was one of the flashiest football players in the history of the NFL. Photograph by Ron Jenkins Getty. This past Saturday, the revamped, unranked University of Colorado football team, coached by Deion Sanders, shocked the sports world by upsetting, on the road and in 100-degree-plus heat, last year's national runner-up, Texas Christian University. I was well prepared for this outcome, as I've been watching the promotional videos of Sanders that have been filmed and uploaded to YouTube during the last 9 months. They are each about 15 minutes or so in length, and show Sanders preparing for the upcoming season. I'm using the term film generously here. These are low-rent, anti-glitz videos that seem to purposely eschew the easy wonder of the iPhone 14 for something that more closely resembles, in spirit and technical proficiency, the home video shot by your uncle on his camcorder in the 1990s. There's no narration, no talking heads, and no obvious through line other than that expectations are sky high for Sanders, who signed a 5-year, nearly $30 million contract last year. Instead, there's plenty of handheld shakiness with hard cuts and missing segues. We're occasionally afforded the courtesy of a quick and mumbled introduction of a coach or player, if you catch it in time, but the rule of thumb seems to be that either you understand what's going on or you don't. Often the camera is out of focus. Other times the audio is poor. Sometimes the sound drops out completely, and a caption on the screen might explain that the video had to be muted because something wild was said. It's worth noting that Sanders says he hasn't cursed since he was a college student at Florida State University, where he weaned himself off profanity by paying a fine of $5 to whoever happened to be with him at the time. The closest he comes now to using a swear word is dang and darn, which, coming from Sanders, is strangely alluring, as opposed to cloying, and is just one example of how the banal manages to upstage the grandiose in these videos. The camera follows Sanders as he traverses the team facility's equipment room, weight room, indoor practice field, sometimes riding through the hallways on a bicycle that's been provided for him. Sanders has a bad foot, which was dislocated for nearly 20 years. Watching Sanders waiting in line in the campus cafeteria, being served chicken, shrimp, rice, etc. That's a beautiful plate right there, he tells the camera, is another example of where the activities of daily living can trump the actual fundamentals of putting together football season with its ubiquitous team meetings and player workouts and cliché exhortations. There are times when the videos seem to consciously point directly at the power of the mundane, a la Frederick Wiseman, without the social commentary. As when we see Sanders vacuuming the white plush rug in his office, at 4:30 a.m. no less. 30 seconds of ambience only, after which he extols the virtuosity of vacuum cleaner and declaims that he hopes to do business with the company. Dyson, he says, please call me in the age of TikTok. This is what counts as an extended meditation on everyday life. That's not to say that there aren't plenty of the customary sports platitudes to go around. This is the beginning, Sanders tells his team at one point early in the rebuilding process. We are going to look back at this particular day and understand how prolific and how profound that this day is. That might be true, but it's something we've already seen many times before from coaches, players, fans, commentators, et al. What we haven't seen before is what takes place between him and a campus cleaning woman he meets while waiting for the elevator one morning. He's in the middle of talking to one of his coaches when he pauses and turns to the woman who is standing next to a cart piled with bags of garbage. How you doing today, he says to her. I'm doing good, sir, she says. Thank you for asking. She speaks with an accent and she's diffident, who wouldn't be? And then Sanders puts his arm around her shoulder. You're doing a good job, he says to her. He corrects himself. A great job. He holds the elevator door as she wheels the cart of garbage in, and the last thing we hear her saying is, I need to take my 8 o'clock breakfast break. If this is Sanders exhibiting his magnanimous personality for the benefit of the camera, consider me a sucker that he had a difficult childhood growing up in Fort Myers, Florida, where his mother worked as a cleaner to support her children. Adds a level of backstory to a life now spent completely amid the largest of a Pac-12 football team. This is not the first so-called documentary about Sanders as a Division I head coach. On Barstool Sports and Amazon Prime, cameras followed his first college coaching job at Jackson State University, where he was hired after being an offensive coordinator at Trinity Christian High School, where two of his sons played. The first season of the Amazon Prime series ran for only 4 episodes and concluded with an undefeated regular season, and Sanders being hired away by the University of Colorado, which is where these YouTube videos pick up, without any trace of the polished docuseries that we've become accustomed to. Amazon Prime is reportedly at work on a new season. The irony of these underproduced videos is that Deion Sanders, aka Neon Deion, aka Primetime, aka, most recently, Coach Prime, was one of the flashiest football players in the history of the NFL. He was a cornerback, a punt returner, an occasional wide receiver, and, by the way, an outfielder for 9 seasons in Major League Baseball. He's the only professional athlete to have played in both a Super Bowl and a World Series. Those glory days are long gone. He now walks with a pronounced limp because 2 years ago he nearly died as a result of blood clots in his leg and had to have 2 toes amputated. He's not shy about displaying his foot. He has it massaged twice a day in the team training room to keep the blood flowing. In a Boulder nail salon, he asks the technician, with his typical aplomb in the face of physical decline, I got 8 toes. Do I get a discount? The deterioration of his body, he estimates. 22 surgeries, 12 on the foot alone, adds a certain amount of pathos to the story, and an unintentional meta-commentary. Here's what awaits the young, seemingly indestructible bodies of the athletes he now coaches, almost none of whom will make it to the NFL or earn anywhere near the millions that Sanders made in the course of his career. Video from the New Yorker. Mind behind the videos is Sanders' son Deion, Jr., who is present nearly as much as his father, and who serves as social media manager. The nepotism extends to Sanders' 2 other sons, Shedder, who is Colorado's starting quarterback, and Shiloh, a starting safety, both of whom he brought from Jackson State when he resigned. Darius Sanders, no relation, helps out with filming the videos. Deion, Jr.'s days are relatively uneventful, which makes them fascinating. He runs errands for his father. He unboxes products sent by companies in the hope of free advertising. Sunglasses by Shady Side Up. He shoots the shit with the staff and players there. He is dropping in unannounced on the tech guy who fixes the team's computers. How genius is that? Deion, Jr. asks with genuine appreciation. There he is shopping at the craft store. Michael is understandably bewildered as he tries to find a picture frame large enough for one of his father's football jerseys. In short, he's responsible for coming up with content, and the guiding principle seems to be that pretty much anything goes. In one video, titled The New Record for Most Spent at the School Bookstore, he buys $1,000 worth of University of Colorado sweatshirts and assorted merchandise. Get your Colorado stuff, he tells the camera. If you really support, show me that you support. This serves as a useful reminder that college football is a business, so it's not entirely accurate to say that there's no social commentary in these videos. Fact, it's implied in almost every frame. The execution might be bargain basement, But everything else is penthouse, beginning with the senior Sanders' luxury office, designed just for him, with a chandelier and a view of the snow-capped Flatirons, and the equipment room that resembles a Nike factory outlet. And, of course, the $30 million contract that Sanders has signed. God is good is a phrase often repeated for rhetorical effect, as the title of the YouTube series, Colorado Opulence, makes clear. There will be no shame or embarrassment about the absolute monetary supremacy of Division I college football and the many directions in which the cash flows. And, lest anyone should forget, Sanders has been hired with the goal of turning around the university's underperforming asset, i.e. making a winner out of a football team that finished last year in last place in the Pac-12 with a record of 1-11. If Sanders seems daunted by the prospect, he shows no sign of it. After all, he had already worked miracles when he was at Jackson State, transforming a mediocre team at an HBCU with a fraction of the University of Colorado budget into a powerhouse that won the Southwestern Athletic Conference in both of the seasons he coached there. This is the reputation that precedes Sanders when he meets his new players for the first time, way back in December, entering to enthusiastic applause, limping, as per usual, dressed in a three-piece suit and a black and yellow tie. The team colors while All Eyes on Me plays over the speakers. That's the way we walk in, he says to laughter. But that's as funny as it's going to get for the players, who mostly stare at him in awe. In a video that's been viewed almost 4.5 million times, I count for 6 of those, Sanders talks matter-of-factly about what he interprets as a culture of complacency that has overtaken the team. I'm coming, he says ominously, which is to become a refrain in his speech. I'm coming to work and not to play. I'm coming to kill it and not to kick it. A few weeks later, this will be turned into the collective we coming and used as the team motto, emblazoned on sweatshirts that can be purchased at the college bookstore for $55. Sanders is unsentimental and proscriptive in his speech. He informs the players that from now on there will be no hats, no hoodies, and no phones in his meetings. I wish you would bring a phone in my meeting, he says, issuing a veiled threat and speaking for every college professor who lacks his commanding presence and institutional support. He explains that he already has plans to replace many of them with better players. His son Shiloh and Shetter happen to be 2 of those better players. I'm bringing my luggage with me, he says, and it's Lewis. Not long after that initial team meeting, Sanders puts his money where his mouth is and brings with him more Louis Vuitton luggage, shocking the sports world by flipping the 5-star cornerback Cormani McLean, who had already committed to the University of Miami. Sanders is a talent who attracts talent. On the field last Saturday against TCU, only 10 players remained from last year's team. And when his friend Lil Wayne arrives with his entourage, circa midnight wrap star time, Sanders, wearing overalls and red sandals, gives him a personal tour of the impeccable team facilities. We've been here before, of course, but now we're experiencing it through Lil Wayne's eyes, and his disbelief is palpable in the presence of such outsized wealth, on a college campus no less. Together they enter an enormous room, pristine, carpeted, lit like a nightclub, and suddenly it dawns on Lil Wayne where he is, and he stops, rolls his head in disbelief, and exclaims, in one of the rare moments when actual profanity can be heard aloud, "This is the fucking locker room." Fast forward some 7 months later to the TCU game, where Sanders can be seen giving an electrifying pre-game speech, showcasing the full power of his oratory skills, and transforming the team motto, as if he had planned this from the very beginning, from we coming into we here.
Now, this article was written September 9th, 2023, so this was rather recent, and a YouTube view of Deion Sanders, and it's written by Saeed Farizda. And let me tell you something, Mr. Saeed, you're throwing major shade here, and it's not fair. You know, I mean, the way they go about their business, meaning well-off media, reach the people media, in a pregame show, it is perfect. Let me describe it this way. These videos are imperfectly perfect. That's how I would like to describe it. It doesn't have to be a Hollywood set or some big elaborate production. That's not needed here. And for you to mention that they use an iPhone, you said here specifically in the article, an iPhone 14. Listen, there were movies shot with just an iPhone and using Adobe Premiere Pro, which I happen to use. It's an editing software, video editing software. That's really all you need in today's technology. Today's technology throws out the middleman. We don't need someone that we have to pay thousands of dollars to edit for us. And even though these are your opinions, in my opinion, these videos are done perfectly and it gets the job done. And This is how social media is. With social media, the videos don't have to be Hollywood studio edited. It doesn't have to be. And these videos are very effective because a lot of people are watching these videos. Some people are watching these videos to get intel on the team, but they put just enough out there without giving you the full recipe. And it gives the fans and supporters a glimpse into the inner workings of the team without giving much of the information away. It makes us feel like we're a part of the team in first person view, and I love it. And just read some of the comments here. Someone said, I got through half of the article and I felt some type of way, bruh. Somebody locate the writer for me. Somebody said, laughing my ass off, no doubt, but for sure, get that steady cam, bro. And someone else said here, I hate that I had to read that article. I'm all for hearing a different perspective, but he turned everything into negative. A huge reach. Then someone here said, for me, the videos feel like a first person view. I thought that's the vibe of the videos were supposed to be. Personally, I like them for more than heavily produced and edited video. And I feel the same way. It don't have to be heavily produced, sir. It doesn't have to be. It's a first person view and it gives us that perspective. And I would like to say to Bucky, that's Deion Sanders Jr., Darius Sanders, in the pregame show, I wouldn't worry about what's said in this article here. I wouldn't worry about that. What you're doing is a great job. You're capturing a moment in time. This is what I liken them to. I liken them to documentarians. They are capturing a moment in time, a historic moment in time. Coach Prime is the first HBCU coach to coach a Power 5 football team. Not only that, they're 2-0 right now. This is a moment in time that's in the history books and is being documented in real time. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't worry about the shade. The shade comes with the territory. That means you're doing something great. For major league shade like this, I want you to pat yourselves on the back. That means you're doing something well. If you weren't doing nothing right, they probably wouldn't be talking about you. Or they might be talking about you saying you're doing everything wrong, but you're doing everything right. And I'm telling you this, I know just from editing videos over the years, I'm no stranger to this. What you guys are doing is a marvelous job. Keep up the good work. There's going to be a lot more things said. As the season go on, the major shade is going to get worse, but you got to ignore it and keep moving forward. That's for everybody on the team and all the supporters and everything else. They also called us unrealistic fans. They called us bandwagon fans and everything else. They're going to have their opinion, but just keep moving forward, man. I love the videos. And yeah, I just wanted to say that. Drop your comment below. Let me know how you feel. All right, guys, until next one, I'll talk to you later. Peace. Thanks for watching, guys. But before you go, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also hit the bell notification so you can get updated on my latest content as it drops. If you have any video ideas, feel free to leave a comment below. Take care.